All right, I made a couple videos. One of them talks about how to get elevation files from Google Earth or Google Maps and bring it into Cinema. The other one talks about texturing. I'm going to recreate them both real quick and just show how to actually export out this mesh and prep it for either export to any other 3D program for 3D printing or modeling or the web or whatever. So. And I made a plane before. I'm going to make a disk this time. It was 1081. So the outer radius here, I'm going to make a disk. I'm going to do 1081 divided by 2. And there we go. I am going to create a texture and throw that on there. In my texture, I'm going to do displacement. I'm going to do, it was the merged one, and there it is. I made this to, what was it? I'll do 88, change it to intensity. Change it to intensity, subpolygon displacement, render that out, and there we go. So we're looking good so far. Put on the color, same thing here. Color one, we'll use this one. And okay, so it's pretty much what we had before. I'm going to continue doing this. I think we had maybe some more. Okay, there we go. So now the problem here is we have we don't have a lot of polygons, and we need to actually export this out. We want to create this mesh, and so what we do is we do a couple things. So we have this mesh here. We'll do first, and then so this one, we have a couple different tools at our disposal. We have this displacer tool, and we're going to drop that under the disk. And the displacer tool basically has this under the shading tab, the shader tab. It has custom. I can do displacement, and then in displacement I can drag in this texture, and you saw it just move. Let's see, this was, what was the size again? 88. So we'll change that to 88. And I'm going to go into the displacer and we'll change this to 88. And cool, there it is, but it's obviously not as defined as the other. And further, if I render this out, you can see it's kind of combining the displacement channel in the texture with this displacer object. So we're getting further away, but it's actually, we're doing what we should be. So, and because this is too low poly, what do? We want to add more polygons, and a good way to do that is to hold down Alt, click on the subdivision surface. You can see that adds in more. If you recall, in here, we had this subdivision level at 4, so we're going to change this one to 4 as well. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Render that out. Takes a little longer, but theoretically these should match, right? Because now it's 4 and 4, but clearly they don't. This is this bulbous shape and everything's weird. And what's happening is it's using the displacement here. It's subdividing and then further subdividing and displacing here. So it's like we're doing too many things. We're being redundant here. So what we can do is, and this is how we use the subdivision object, is we nest stuff below it. And this is how we use the displacer object, is we nest it within what we want to do. But to make this work, we do Alt or Option G, and that creates a null. We basically just want to bring this displace object up next to our subdivision surface. So again, we render that out. We're still going to have the problem of rendering both of these and rendering the texture. So, okay, so you can see we saw that bulbous kind of look there. So what we're going to do, and we can't delete the texture because the texture is what, if you recall, what our displacer is using for reference. So what we have to do now is select everything, right click and do connect objects and delete. Easy enough. There it is. And now we have actual polygons that we can do stuff with. So still have the problem if we render this out, taking forever. We still have this bulbous problem, but again, we're still, even now, duplicating both. We're adding this displacement channel on top of this mesh. So all we have to do for that is copy and paste, change this one. We basically just remove the displacement from this channel, add that onto our null, and render out, and now we're good. So the height is a little different here. It looks like, not totally sure why, but I probably overlooked a setting or something, but you can mess with these and tweak them before you connect and delete. You can kind of adjust everything and get it right to where you need to be. So, and then what I always end up doing, what I've been doing is I collect this. Oh, by the way, I have 142,000 polygons. Just FYI, if you're doing with the web, that's going to matter. But now I can select the edges. I do UL loop selection here. Click that. Now I'm going to do hit. Let's see here. Actually, well, let me do offset by 2, and then we'll zoom in, and then we'll grab polygons and do UL and click that, and then we'll duplicate that and go down. Okay, so we have some screwy holes, but in general we're pretty good. So now we're going to do our dots, our points, and so we have 2 layers here. So let me go into here. I do UL. I'll just do that, and then I want the Y on all of these to be 0. And now they're all even, if you can see that. So you'd have to go and clean some of these up. There's some weird parts of the mesh. That's just because this circle crops that out. But basically, you can do, you can make this on a pedestal or something, and then we render that out. And now we have the start of a model that, okay, again, there's some weirdness there. I'm not going to fix all that, but that's the idea. So yeah, so that's about it. Now we have this mesh that we can, do export to whatever we need to export to. All right, that's it.